yourself at your local Chevy Geo dealer.
Tonight's exclusive AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by Sigico's Peak Performance Programs.
Pizza now with a look at your exclusive AccuWeather forecast, and pretty wet weekend out there.
Get those umbrellas out, and those will keep them out. You're going to need them for the next not 2, maybe 3 days. A lot of rain. Yes, not much sunshine at all. Currently an overcast sky in Evansville, 55 degrees. Winds are from the northeast at 8 miles an hour. The barometer 30.14 inches and steady. Relative humidity 86%. High today 59. Not much of a range there from the high and low. Nearly half an inch of rainfall recorded since midnight. Now around the tri-state about the same. 54 in Vincennes, Jasper, and Owensboro. Madisonville at 57 and Carmine at 53. Well, let's see what it's doing out there. Advanced Doppler showing some light rainfall around the edges of the tri-state. Go over to Wayne County, Illinois. Some light precipitation there. Light to moderate precipitation in Davis County, Indiana. Go down toward Kentucky. You got McLean County, Ohio County getting some light to moderate rainfall, but just kind of an overcast evening. But it doesn't mean it's over with as for now, because we've got more energy on the way, more storms, and a couple of thunderstorms put in the forecast. Cold front stalled right over the Ohio Valley region, stretching all the way down to Oklahoma and Texas. Look at the monster storms just popping up around western Missouri. Well, this upper level energy is beginning to move northeastward, producing some severe weather potential for areas of the plains. Now, you can see the 1 watch has been dropped, but then you've got a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock and a tornado watch until 12 midnight for areas of Missouri on over to areas of northeast Oklahoma. What's in store for us? Well, this upper level low that's causing the severe weather in here is going to slowly track northeastward, bringing us more scattered rainfall and a chance of a couple of thunder showers. And then eventually down the line by Tuesday, it moves just to the northwest of us, still close enough to bring us more rainfall. So get ready. You're going to have 2, maybe 3 days of precipitation. We'll sum it up for you right after this.
Give you a hand?
Much obliged.
Just what is it we're doing?
Saving energy.
You don't say.
Sigico's program helps keep energy use down and utility rates low.
Can I help?
You all can.
This program got a name?
Peak Performers. See? A whole bunch of energy-saving options to watch for. Even pay you cash.
That was easy.
Sure. When we all pull together. Peak Performers from Sigico. Together, we're making a powerful difference.
If you're traveling tomorrow morning, you're flying to Indianapolis, St. Louis, or Dallas, Fort Worth, rain showers, thunderstorms down there. Looking nice for Atlanta and Miami. Rain showers for Charlotte, though. Out to the west, how about some snowfall for the spring season? Go to Denver. They're going to get about 3 to 4 inches of snow before tomorrow. Looking nice for the west coast. As for the tri-state, lingering showers, and that'll be throughout the entire tri-state. Tomorrow, a few thunderstorms and 65. Tomorrow night, the showers will continue. How about the extended? Hey, folks, it stays around. More rainfall expected. Breezy conditions for Tuesday and Wednesday. Peak of the sunshine by Wednesday. We warm up to 72 on Thursday with partly sunny skies. And then the extended forecast Friday and Saturday. Yeah, you guessed it. Chance of rain, but spring showers.
Just in time for the weekend.
Yes.
Thanks, Pete. Finally tonight, the Vandenberg County Sheriff's Department had its newest toy on display out at Roberts Stadium this weekend. The 1994 patrol vehicles have a new graphic design and a new type of light bar on the roof. Sheriff's deputies say the changes give the cars a totally new look. That display was all part of Kids Fun Fest out at Roberts this weekend. And that will do it for us on this Sunday. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, Storms from the Sky is up next. Join us at 6 a.m. tomorrow for CNN Headline News, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 9. Until then, good night.
Abused as children, they now face a king-sized burden. Can they find real answers to a weighty problem? Next, Geraldo.
I'm meteorologist Pete Grigsby from WEVV Fox TV's News at 9. Every year across the United States, tornadoes take many lives. They also cause much damage to property, millions of dollars worth of damage. You can't stop a tornado, but you can do your best to be prepared should one strike. We invite you to stay with us for the next half hour as we present a local news special, Storms from the Sky. This special program will look at what tornadoes have done to tri-state communities in the past and what is being done to provide better warning now and in the future. We will provide you with vital safety tips you can use to help protect yourself and your family when severe weather strikes. And we'll provide you with an important reminder that tornadoes can strike anywhere at any time, especially in the spring season. Please stay tuned.
It sounded like a freight train. It just passed right on top of us. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
What we just saw isn't what we usually think of when we think of spring, but it should serve as a reminder to us that the possibility of tornado activity dramatically increases with the arrival of warmer weather. We begin our special program with a look at severe weather season and why it can prove so deadly here in the tri-state. When it comes to weather, the spring season is known as severe weather season in the tri-state area. With the rising temperatures and blossoming trees, the months of March, April, May, and June also bring severe thunderstorms and tornadoes.
This is kind of a strange time of year because we still have wintertime mechanisms, the fronts that come through that could trigger thunderstorm activity. But also, since the weather's getting warmer and starting to become spring-like, then we have convective mechanisms that start to come into play. So actually the spring season is kind of a confusing one meteorologically, certainly, but it also represents a combination of a number of different mechanisms which will trigger storms.
Tornadoes develop in the strong updraft of severe thunderstorms. Tornadic circulation comes from an interaction between the updraft and horizontal wind, a wind with a strong vertical shear in both speed and direction.
When you look at the tornado statistics for the entire United States for the year, you see that the tornado season starts along the Gulf Coast, and then the peak outbreaks of tornadoes move in their origins into the interior of the country, into the middle of the year, and then retreat outward again back toward the Gulf in the winter. So the peak season is coming when that battleground has moved a little farther into the interior of the country than we're located.
Tornadoes can occur every month of the year, but most strike during the spring season, especially in and near the area known as Tornado Alley. The alley stretches from Texas and Oklahoma, northeastward through areas of Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and Illinois. And even though the tri-state is just east of the so-called alley, severe weather can and often does strike right here at home.
We also have a little bit of a terrain influence. Areas that are relatively flatter tend to produce a few more tornadoes, sometimes tornadoes of a slightly greater intensity that can track on the ground longer and perhaps produce more damage. Another instance is with respect to terrain is when you get into a mountainous region, airflow tends to be disrupted to some extent, and therefore the formation of storms tends to be somewhat limited. So we have a number of things that come into play in trying to establish what areas would be hit greater than others.
There is a commonly held belief that tornadoes and severe thunderstorms follow the Ohio River. And they appear to do that because the dominant direction for thunderstorm tracks is from the southwest. Tornadoes are attached to thunderstorms. Thunderstorms track from the southwest, and the Ohio River, coincidentally, is oriented from the southwest to the northeast. So there is an appearance, but not a real correlation as far as we know.
History warns us in tragic terms of the need to prepare just in case. Just 20 years ago, for example, 148 deadly tornadoes swept through Indiana and the Midwest in a single day. The killer storms took 47 lives in Indiana alone, and over 800 people were injured. 2,000 homes were destroyed in the state, and countless others were damaged. Kentucky was even harder hit. 71 Kentuckians died on April 3, 1974. 1,256 were injured. And while it may be easy to forget things that happened 20 and 50 years ago, the lesson of what happened in Petersburg, Indiana just a few years ago should be fresh in all of our minds. Angela Gariak reminds us of what happened that fateful afternoon.
And I heard a noise, and I went to the door, and I had a large magnolia tree in the yard, and there it was, just flat on the ground. So I started through the house, and before I got all the way through, where there was, the glass was hitting me in the back. Not big pieces, just, you know, but it was stinging. So I ran to the front room and got down behind the couch.
Katie Nordhorn will never forget that evening. It was June 2nd, 1990. Her house was blown away by a devastating tornado that swept through the small town of Petersburg. Katie didn't think she would make it through alive. Neither did Sue Schultz. She and about 300 guests were at her daughter's wedding reception when the tornado sirens went off.
The last person in had just gotten in the door when the vacuum hit. And in there, it was just like I said, just like a vacuum. It just sucked the glass in on us. Of course, there was no electricity. We were all under the tables, and people were screaming, and, you know, it's just a horrible, horrible situation.
Within minutes, 150 homes were destroyed, at least 250 homes and 19 businesses were damaged, and the elementary school was wiped out.
When we walked outside, it was just unbelievable. I mean, it was just like a war zone. I mean, there was, like my husband's nephew had a brand new truck that was parked 2 blocks away. It was right directly in front of the Moose door, upside down, wheels in the air.
But even more devastating, 7 people were killed in the tornado.
The loss of life is hard to grasp for this size of a town, but it could have been a lot worse.
4 years later, scars from that June 2nd tornado are still visible in Petersburg. A neighborhood full of new homes is dotted with empty lots where residents decided to move out instead of rebuild. The trees are still somewhat bare, and many residents are left with a fear that may never leave.
I've always been afraid of storms, but you just kind of, you know, disregard the warnings, you know, but after you've been through one, believe me, you don't. I said, like this morning when the clouds started to roll in, I was looking out the window, you know, and I think everybody is kind of that way because you just can't imagine the force of one of those until you're actually involved in it.
Despite all the destruction, residents are quick to point out the positive. This brand new $9.1 million elementary school is a perfect example.
After the community went through a tornado, of course, our first concern was the safety of the children. So we have 4 safe areas now in our new school. So those areas are basically a concrete bunker. Overhead, it's steel, 8 inches of reinforced concrete, and then on the walls, every 4 feet are poured with concrete.
But building the new school, the new homes, and the churches took a lot of help. Help these people will never forget.
Oh, we had wonderful help. Oh, everybody come, and I sure want to thank everybody. I don't think I've got to. I didn't know half of them.
This whole community came together, and not only the community, but the surrounding area. Evansville, Henderson, Illinois, they all came to our aid, and of course our neighbors like Jasper and Washington and Vincent's, they were right here for us. And that's really what it's all about. In our time of need, they were here.
It's taken some time, but the new has replaced the old in Petersburg. More modern homes have replaced less valuable homes, and longtime residents like Katie and Sue have gone on with their lives.
We've got some beautiful churches up now, and a new doctor's clinic and several other things. They're very positive and help set off old Petersburg with a new flavor.
In Petersburg, Indiana, Angela Gariak, WEVV Fox News.
The story is often the same after killer tornadoes. With a better warning, more people might have survived. When we return, we'll show you some of the things that the National Weather Service is doing to give you a faster and more effective warning when severe weather strikes.
This is Berry Berry Kicks, a different kind of kid cereal.
Hey, Mom, can we get that, please?
And you know what they'll do to get a kid cereal.
I'll take out the garbage.
It's got natural fruit flavors.
Tell you what, I'll give up my video games.
Real fruit juice and less sugar than most kid cereals. So when your kids say,
please,
you'll gladly say okay. Berry Berry Kicks.
This was worth it.
Let's see what Pagnozzi can do here in the ninth. Swinging a high fly ball to left. Get up, get up. Gone, gone.
Diving stop Ozzie. Gets up, throws, got it.
The Cardinals come home to meet the Dodgers Monday evening at 7 on TSN, Channel 63, Evansville Cable 51. It's time to sign up for the 8th Annual Arts Fest River Run. Look for this registration form in area businesses and sign up before April 22nd for only $16. Then get training to compete for your share of the $24,000 purse. Whether you walk or run, tune into the telecast on WEVV, Fox TV, and TSN, the Tri-State Sports Network. Sponsored by FC Tucker Huber Realtors. Independently owned and operated. Talk to Tucker and St. Mary's Medical Center. When you need some special care, we'll be there.
Little DJ has won the BEE.
You can spell! Yeah, and that's where the big money is.
And now he's heading for the finals.
Jeez, it's just a spelling bee.
Maybe to you, pal, but it's all we've got.
And who knows, someday he might be a big cheese.
For the closing moments when it could have gone either way, you had a funny look on your face. Was that nerves? Concentration? What?
The Cole cut one.
He's a work of art on the next Roseanne.
Monday at 6:30 on WEVV Fox TV.
The key to providing advance warning of tornadoes is for the government and private forecasters to make use of the most advanced technology available. And while technology is important, so are people. There are more than 300 weather offices across the nation, and their top priorities are watching the skies and issuing severe weather warnings to the public. The National Weather Service office in Evansville has one of the largest coverage areas in the nation, 42 counties, spreading across the tri-state area.
We probably have the most, or the largest number of spotters for any Weather Service office in the United States. We spend a lot of time in the field. All of us are out in the field training and getting together with emergency management people, and police, sheriffs, DES, and all these people.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, at least 2 members of the staff are watching the radar, keeping a close eye on severe weather potential. But they're relying on outdated equipment, such is the case for many of the weather offices across the nation. For this reason, the U.S. Department of Commerce is spending billions of dollars on a so-called modernization program, updating offices with new high-tech equipment, including the next-generation radar or advanced Doppler radar.
Doppler, the NexRad system, is designed to look for tornado signatures, and that'll identify that exactly and specifically to the meteorologist that's working the radar. Another thing that the NexRad project can do is identify hail, places that are most likely to be hit by hail. The NexRad can also has what we call an integrated liquid profiler. In other words, it can tell you within a matter of minutes how much rain is going to fall in a specific area. It will be new equipment, high-tech equipment that can do a lot of things our radar can't do now, and it would be associated with the GOES satellites. It'll be associated with the wind profilers. All these things will come into place and give us a better shot at the atmosphere and weather forecasting and warning.
Reorganization of the weather offices is already in progress, and once it's completed, nearly half the offices across the nation will be permanently shut down. With the modernization program, this office in Evansville will be closing down next year. Then most of its coverage area will be turned over to the new office in Paducah. The rest of the tri-state coverage area will be turned over to the offices in Louisville and Indianapolis, offices that are already using new equipment and advanced Doppler radars.
I think it's a step forward. I think it's needed. It has. We've been running in this mode for a long time, since 1957 for this radar. It's outdated.
Advanced Doppler radar is a technology used not only by the National Weather Service, but by leading television stations across the country, including WEVV Fox TV. We use advanced Doppler radar to help us identify weather systems that have the potential of producing tornadoes. And advanced Doppler radar gives us improved range and increased accuracy over old Doppler systems. News at 9 anchor Tim Black takes a look now at what advanced Doppler radar is all about and shows you how it works.
These monstrous storms from the sky are capable of killing hundreds of people within small communities and wrecking homes and property. Not much, unfortunately, will ever be done to keep Mother Nature from playing havoc with homes, but advance warning can save lives. The technology of advanced Doppler radar is committed to providing that advance warning that's so critical in severe weather situations.
One of the aspects of forecasting severe thunderstorms is trying to determine whether there's a cyclonic circulation, which is indicative of a possible tornado developing thunderstorm. So the Doppler radar has that capability of being able to tell whether there's rotation in that precipitation field. If there is, and there's a good chance that there is the possibility of a tornado developing.
Advanced Doppler radar, with its capabilities of profiling the atmosphere, measuring turbulence and relative humidity, is probably the most effective tool available in alerting forecasters to a pre-severe weather environment. Beyond that, it can even see the future, if you will, of a thunderstorm by predicting how much rain will fall.
When you're talking about severe thunderstorms that like to stall, especially in the Evansville area, especially down along the Ohio River Valley, we all know that they do that. They get down into the river basin there, and the thunderstorms will just not move, and they'll sit there for a matter of 4 or 5 hours and dump anywhere from 8 to 9 inches of rain. You've got flash flooding. The next rad system will be able to tell you exactly where and when that's going to happen.
There are some television stations that promote having their own Doppler radar. And again, one of the biggest drawbacks to that is the fact that it's older Doppler technology and is not taking into account the new state-of-the-art information service that the National Weather Service is putting together. And again, you can have Doppler radar, even the old technology. The problem is if you don't know how to interpret it or what you're actually seeing on it on the screen, it can be a very dangerous tool for somebody that is not educated.
In fact, old Doppler radar probably needs glasses because it can sometimes miss thunderstorms because it's not powerful enough to see past the precipitation right in front of its nose. Advanced Doppler can see right through the rain to a second line of thunderstorms and possibly a forming tornado. Advanced Doppler is a $7 billion project that could save something worth much more than that, your life. I'm Tim Black, WEVV Fox News.
All of this advanced technology is designed with one very important purpose in mind, helping you to protect yourself when killer storms appear in the sky. When we return, we will talk with local emergency officials about some things you can do to save yourself and your family when the warning siren sounds.
I usually buy a Post Raisin Bran. They say it's premium. Total Raisin Bran? Never heard of it before. The raisins are big. Tastes good. Wow, look at this. Total Raisin Bran's got 100% of all these vitamins and minerals. Post Raisin Bran doesn't. Not even close. This is the primo stuff.
Total Raisin Bran. The Raisin Bran with the total difference.
All those vitamins and minerals, and it tastes good. Can I keep this?
It's time to sign up for the 8th Annual Arts Fest River Run. Look for this registration form in area businesses and sign up before April 22nd for only $16. Then get training to compete for your share of the $24,000 purse. Whether you walk or run, tune into the telecast on WEVV, Fox TV, and TSN, the Tri-State Sports Network. Sponsored by NDB Bank, member FDIC, and Haney Travel. Discover a world of experience.
I want you. I want to hold you for hours at a time. I want to talk to you until I don't have a voice. Introduce me to everyone who's important to you, your friends, your family. Look at me. I want to spend my life with you. I'll never hurt you. I'll never lie to you. I'll never put you in danger. There's a time for us to be lovers. We will wait until that time comes.
Are teachers given enough credit for all the work they do? I'm Beth Ann Patmethus. On Mondays, 44 Main Street, you'll meet one recently honored Evansville teacher. On Tuesdays, Smoking Can Kill You and Your Pocketbook. We'll explain. Thursday, you'll meet local couples traveling to Russia to adopt babies. And Friday, tips on how to fend off an attacker. Please join me.
The recent rash of tornadoes across the South once again served to remind us that danger is ever present. In Alabama, for example, 20 people died just weeks ago when a tornado smashed into their church during Sunday morning services. A tornado warning had been issued, but the victims had no way of knowing. Because of such tragedies, emergency management officials are trying to improve public awareness in their warning systems. Angela Cleaving takes a closer look.
First of all, before we get into preparing for a tornado, a few myths need to be dispelled. Many of you may believe that opening your windows in order to equalize pressure will help. In fact, it does not matter. You may have also heard that it is okay to be in a mobile home that is anchored down. This too is false. Many of you may believe that you can try to outrun a tornado in your car. This too is untrue. If you're in your car and a tornado warning has been issued, you need to seek shelter immediately. And if you're in your car and you see a tornado, you need to get out of your car and lie flat in a ditch in order to protect yourself. It is important to know the difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning. A watch means a tornado is possible. You should be alert and listen for more information and be prepared to take shelter. A tornado warning means a tornado has been sighted and you should go to your shelter immediately. Warnings for tornadoes are issued in many ways. You can listen to your local television and radio stations for information when a thunderstorm is in the area. There are also several warning sirens in the Vanderburgh and surrounding counties.
We have 21 sirens within the Evansville-Vanderburgh County area. There are void areas within the community that you're not going to be able to hear the sirens. And there again, depending upon if the wind's blowing real hard and it's storming real bad, you still may not be able to hear the sirens. So the best thing to have is a weather radio within your own home, or business, or school, or wherever you're at. The weather radio is going to give you that alert. It's also good to have it because even if you're at home at night sleeping and severe weather comes up while you're at home sleeping, then the weather radio is going to alert you that there is something happening within your area.
The main thing is to listen to your radios, your weather radios, your TVs, because this is the first line warning that you'll get. Be prepared, already know where you're supposed to go in case a warning comes out. Know ahead of time because we may not get that warning out.
Now that you know how you are going to receive the warning, it is important that you develop a pre-emergency plan. This includes discussing with household members a plan of action. You should also find a safe spot in your home before a tornado strikes.
Well, the general rule of thumb is put as much distance and as much material between your body and what's going on outside. Right, and that kind of depends on where you happen to be at the time. Let me give you some examples or some guidelines that I tell people. First of all, underground if at all possible. Storm shelters, though they're great, they're very few and far between, so I don't anticipate many people coming across an actual storm shelter. Basements, of course, are the next choice, keeping away from all windows and doors leading to the outside. These are areas of obvious structural weakness in the building. While in the basement, again, crawling under a table or wrapping oneself up in a blanket or something, anything to protect your body from what's happening outside, as much material as you can put between you and the weather.
Keep a radio or television nearby in order to receive updated information. Prepare an emergency kit and make a list of all your belongings for insurance purposes later. Your emergency kit should contain a supply of water, non-perishable food, rain gear, blankets or sleeping bags, a first aid kit, battery-powered radio, flashlight, and any special devices that your family may need.
After the tornado, that's when the Emergency Management Agency really goes into full swing. At that time, we've got to get people's lives, help people get their lives back to normal as soon as possible. If it's declared a disaster, federal disaster, then there's federal funding out there that we can get for people, for business and industry also.
Many people do not know what to do after a tornado is over. First of all, check for injuries. Do not attempt to move anyone who is seriously injured. Look out for broken glass and down power lines, and know where your local Red Cross is located and have a location predetermined for family members to meet. And if you still have any questions about what to do during a tornado or in any emergency situation, you can obtain much of this information and additional information at your local emergency management agency. In Evansville, Angela Cleaving, WEVV Fox News.
When we return, we will take a closer look at the special symbols our station uses to inform you when there is severe weather in our area. And we'll tell you what you can expect us to do to keep you informed.
Now Oatmeal Crisp with apples has 25% more apples than before. How does that hit you, Mr. Newton? Uh-oh. Look for specially marked boxes.
They've just added 25% more almonds to Oatmeal Crisp with almonds. 25%. How nuts is that?
Look for specially marked boxes.
I will not reduce myself to meeting men in bars. I refuse to date coworkers or clients. Dating a friend of a friend is out of the question. That's why I called Matchmaker. And Matchmaker is why I have a date tonight with just the right man.
Call Matchmaker International now.
While the other stations are just talking about the weather, the News at 9 on WEVV Fox TV is doing something about it. Each night, turn to the only local advanced Doppler radar forecast to tell when and where deadly weather may strike. No matter what you've been told in the past, old Doppler radar can't do that. Advanced Doppler radar finds tornado signatures before they cause harm, giving your family time to move to safety. Turn to Pete Grigsby's exclusive AccuWeather forecast with Advanced Doppler radar tonight on the News at 9.